Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I hope that you guys are ready because you're gonna be up for a treat today. I'm bringing you along already into our lesson here, which is the fourth lesson that we're having on the balancing of the canter or the canter elevation, and it's going so well, guys. Today we're doing our lesson in the indoor arena because it's crazy windy out there. And we also want to make sure that the horse is paying full attention to me, and so we can get stuff done today. But you're up for some lovely figure from Hazel. We're definitely putting the dots together and it's starting to look really nice. It's not even the full finished product yet, but I'm super excited to show you what we've been up to. So as I said earlier, we're diving in directly into the lesson. So the warm-up has been done already and we're just going straight into the canter. And here we're working Hazel on her best side, which is the side that's the easiest, and so far so good. As you can see, she is able to pace herself quite a lot. She got a little bit excited at the first few canters, but she got this down on this side now and she understands what is asked of her, so it's definitely easier as well. So we're just giving her a nice backup here because she's a little bit enthusiastic about this whole project today, and she just rushes a little bit into that canter, but overall doing really great on that direction. So it's time here to change lead and we're gonna work on her harder side here, the one that we're having a little bit of an issue with when it comes to balancing. So I was catching up my coach on what we've done on the weekend and what issues I've had so we can kind of fix them, but so far so good. As you can see, her collected trot is looking amazing, and we can also get a nice decent actually working trot as well. So we're just working on her trot right now because we always have the same issue with Hazel, is that she always wants to go. So every time she's gonna root, push and be really pushy, we're gonna back her up, and then as soon as we get some good control, we're gonna ask for a canter. So as you'll be able to see, we'll be able to pick up a nice canter. We had a few steps in between, but that's okay because we're just warming up. So the point here is to get a good balance. And as you can see, her neck is definitely a little bit more in line with her shoulder blades, which is something that we worked really hard over the weekend, is basically the getting into the canter and also leaving the canter, as well as making sure that her shoulders are not in the way. Because it was getting to a point where it was just not productive at all, having those shoulders right in the way and not being able to fully get the motion. So that's something I really worked really hard the previous weekend to get that done. And as you can see, Hazel's got it a little bit more together today, so that's why you're up for some lovely images of us during that lesson. So there's a few things that go into my mind when I'm preparing Hazel for a canter. Obviously you want to have control of your horse. You want to make sure that the horse is with you. And by control I mean you want to have a good contact with your horse. You don't want a horse that's too pushy, pulling you around, and you also want to have a good bend. I can't put enough emphasis on the bend here, because if you don't have these two components, your canter is just gonna fall out of place. So as soon as my horse is pushy, I'm just backing her up, as you've seen, and that really helps. And when it comes to the bend, by doing some exercises to overemphasize the bend, it really helps you to kind of get her to soften and just get her together a little bit. The last key element is the consistency. So you want to make sure that the horse's rhythm is consistent so that you can have a fair chance at picking up the next speed here. So Hazel was a little bit rushy into her gait, and then she fell a little flat. So that's something I have to work on. It is definitely a hand to leg and leg to hand motion, so you really have to kind of balance yourself in your aids as well. So if you're not properly balanced, you're gonna fall out of the canter, and that's something that definitely happens. So what happens with me is I push her into a canter, she's doing it great, but then I don't know, I feel more confident, I feel like we've got this, and then my leg slowly releases, and then my horse just falls out of the canter. So I just have to be a little bit more consistent with my leg to hand motion, and that will really help. Because at the beginning of the canter, what you're gonna do is you're gonna do leg to hand. So you're gonna push with your leg, get into the canter, and then control it with your hand. But then it's like a reverse motion afterwards. It's gonna be your hands to your legs to control the balance. So you really have to get that down. So as you can see here, I have a lot of resistance. Her neck is definitely not at the right place. So I'm always encouraging her to just go forward if that happens, except when it's just too much and she's just like deliberately like rooting down and there's just really no point to it, then I'll just back her up for that. But if she's just starting to lean forward, I'm just gonna push her even more forward so she can get her head up again, and we can just continue. That's something she's starting to do. She's always been like a rooter. She always likes to drag, but it's something that we're just not allowing her to do because that just falls out of balance. It's just not elegant, and it's also not very nice and not comfortable for the rider as well. So she really has to carry herself and take care of her neck. That's the only thing I'm gonna ask her. I can control everything else, but her neck, she's gonna really have to work hard and just keep it where it is. So here we've got a nice canter. My coach suggested that I break the canter down a little bit, especially in that direction. So what we're gonna aim to do here is getting into a canter and out and in and out just before she breaks, and that will help us to have full control over what's going on. So you really don't want your horse to keep on breaking on you, because they eventually learn that by breaking down the canter, they go back to the walk, so they have release there. So you really have to teach them that, hey, listen to me, it's not about what you want when you want, it's about what I'm asking you right here, right now. So that's something that we're working with Hazel, and it's definitely something that I have to get my heads on sometime, is just to really break it down for the horse to make it easier to achieve the objectives. So here the objective is just to get into the canter when I ask for it and really be accurate as possible. So when I'm asking her once with my leg, she should pick it up without a fuss, without an extra step, just pick it up from there. So she's at a point now where we have to be a little bit not harsher, but we have to step it up to the next level. She is definitely fit enough. She is proven to be smart enough, and she has everything there to accomplish something. We just have to be very diligent and just get her through the steps so she can learn what we're trying to teach her. So she's proven many times that she can do a lot of things. We just really have to encourage that and reinforce that as well. So as you can see, Hazel is starting to have a little bit of a sweat here, so we're just going slowly. We gave her a nice break. We're just picking things up where we left them, and we're gonna ask again to the canter. We just want to be to a point where we can just ask for a canter at any point, any time, and we get the canter that we need to get the job done. So that's where we're at, and as you can see here, she's softened so much. Her canter is actually becoming really soft and really manageable. I, on the other hand, have to be just a little bit faster at catching things up when I feel like it's gonna fall apart. So there's a bit of a point where you feel that the horse is going flat, like their back is flattening a little bit, and that's like a key sign that it's about to break. And sometimes you just get it for half a second, that little flat moment, and so it's a little hard to get your leg right in there at the right moment. But that's also, you know, it's a sport for both of us, so it's for the horse and for the rider, and we're both learning something, and so we're gonna eventually get it. But it's just like there's a lot of things that go on into the rider's brain and the rider's command. It's not all the horse that does all the jobs, so you really have to also work on yourself a lot to be able to communicate properly what you want accomplished. So here again, we're working on getting that canter collected and keep it a little bit longer. The downward transition was pretty good actually. We're getting there. It's a little bit bumpy still, but because we're asking a lot of more collection in the canter, she just has to find her good balance where she can just slowly ease into a trot and just keep a nice working trot from there. So that's something we're going to be slowly working on as well. But we're just flattening a couple bumps in the road with that lesson. It seemed that it's just really paid off. We're just already so much far ahead from the fourth lesson. If you guys go back a couple videos and you watch the first lesson versus this one, it's definitely light years ahead. So I'm super proud, super happy, because it's finally starting to form. It's finally coming along. And on my hand, I just really feel like I no longer have a racehorse, but I have a nice working horse because the motion on the saddle is totally different. She's not as forward anymore, and I can ask her to collect and collect and collect slowly, but I can just feel that I'm going to be able to package her really nicely in the near future. So after giving her a nice break, we're going again with the canter work. We're trying to slowly give her not less breaks, but we're just gonna keep on pushing her, less back up, more work forward. So we're just at a point where we're both warmed up enough, and we just have to really get the job done. So as you can see, Hazel's definitely more floaty. It's just more rhythm, more cadence here. It's definitely starting to loosen up a little bit, and we're getting a little bit better result. She still roots a little forward and bolts a little forward, but that's something we're working on here. Because she missed it and it didn't really look really proper, I'm just gonna give it another shot right away. And as you can see, this one is not nearly as bad. It's a little bit collected, still not enough yet, but that's what we're gonna keep on doing. So we're gonna keep on moving forward, traveling forward, from trot to canter and canter to trot, until we get this a little bit more smooth. And as you can see, every single time we get a different element, even though if it's just a half circle. In all those four last times that we had just right here, we see a huge difference, a huge improvement in the balance of the horse. She's gonna have to figure out how she can get into that canter and how she has to get out of it. So here we're giving her another really good break. Hazel at this point is pretty much like a drool bucket. She's drooling so much, and you guys will know that drooling is really good and it's encouraged, especially in dressage, because it just shows relaxation from the horse, which is a good thing. So you want them to basically be relaxed, you want them to be supple, and all this salivation is really a sign that they're actually relaxing and they're not tense in their mouth. So that's something that's really encouraged. And Hazel is really drooling quite a lot in that session because she's finally figured out that, hey, canter is not something stressful. That's something that I can do, and I can be relaxed doing it, and that's a really good sign, because the more relaxed she's going to be in the canter, the more control I'm going to have as a rider when it comes to the pace of the canter and the collection as well. So you really want a horse that's really nice, relaxed, and willing when you're trying to collect them, so you know you don't have to do all the work and just really force them into a frame. You really want them to pick up the frame from themselves and for themselves, and that's something that comes with training time as well as a learning curve for them. They really have to learn to ease into it and relax into it as well. So I hope that you guys really enjoyed this video. For me, it was definitely like a nice epic lesson. It's definitely one of my top 3 favorite lessons of all time with Hazel, because we were set to do something and we accomplished it. And these images for me like just blew my mind, because when I'm riding the horse I don't have access to any mirror. I can't see what I look like. All I can do is basically feel what I feel under saddle and in my hands. So by seeing exactly how everything comes into shape, it just makes me really hopeful for the future, and I think we're gonna have a lovely horse when it comes to canter. I think she's gonna have a beautiful canter. Obviously nothing comes for free, we really have to work for it, but I can see already that it's gonna be really nice and that we're definitely heading in the right direction. So once again, I hope that you guys really like this video as much as I enjoyed filming it for you guys, and I hope that you guys enjoyed the footage as well as the lesson, and that you've learned something new. I'll see you guys very soon for another lesson. Bye for now.